talking about some really impressive wind shear. So this is something we're going to monitor very closely. Again, we currently have a tornado warning in effect for Madison County, Limestone County, and Morgan County. Tornado warning is going to run until 7:45 this evening. So I want to kind of get you into perspective as to where this tornado warned storm is. First, here's the list of cities. That should certainly help you. Triana by 7:32, Lacey Spring by 7:41, Farley by 7:43, Bailey Cove Estates by 7:46, and then getting into Owens Crossroads. Owens Crossroads, the last city on the list here, by 7:50. So it looks like this storm is moving directly to the east. Here's 565. So that's 565. It looks like we are sitting just to the south of 565. Here's Belmina, and then up here just a little ways behind the screen I have there for you is going to be Madison. So if you are in Madison, if you're in Belmina, you really need to be in your tornado safe place. If you're watching this broadcast from Madison, the city of Madison, it looks like this is going to move just to the south of you. You're probably going to get some really gusty wind in Madison. But if you're in Madison or if you're in the Huntsville metro area, it looks like this activity is going to move just to the south. I'm also following up on a couple of other storm reports that I received. Apparently, there are some fire trucks at the Walmart in Hazel Green. I'm going to ask for some pictures, and we'll see if maybe we can get those to you guys in a little while. But apparently there are some fire trucks. We heard some reports of damage to the Walmart up in Hazel Green. So that's something we're going to continue to monitor. I'm going to see if I can get some pictures in over the next couple of minutes. But in the meantime, we are talking about a brand new tornado warning. Emily's gone ahead and circled our area of interest here. Look how this rotation is really tightened up over the last couple of radar scans. So this is something we're really going to watch very closely. Rockhouse Landing, Swancott, south of Mooresville. So here's Mooresville. And then we get back up into 565. This area is just to the south of 565. Radar just updated it, kind of outdid Emily's circle, but she's going to go ahead and redraw it for y'all. Here's what we're talking about. We're talking about this area right here. This is where we're talking about some really impressive rotation. And I can about guarantee if Emily were to flip it over to our shear rate, yeah, they line up almost perfect. So they're lining up almost perfectly. So it's kind of the area of highest shear is just outside of the circle, but it looks nearly perfect. They almost line up. And again, our shear rate is a great tool. Y'all know it's one of my favorite tools to use in a time of severe weather because our shear rate tells us about changes in wind speed and wind direction with height. Emily, is there any way you can... no, never mind. I was going to ask you to go over to correlation coefficient, but I don't really think that would be worth it. So we can stick with our velocity image for the time being. We're watching an area of rotation. If you're just joining us this evening, we have a tornado warning in effect for, I believe it's portions of Morgan County, Limestone County, and Madison County. Tornado warning going to run until 7:45. Showers and thunderstorms really beginning to enter an environment that is a little more favorable for the development of severe weather. And we thought that maybe this was something that could happen as we got into the heart of the evening. So this is something we are going to continue to watch. Emily, I want to zoom out because I know we've got a couple of larger areas that we're talking about. So here's 565. Here, right around here is Madison, and then here is the Huntsville Metro. So if you're in the Huntsville Metro, if you're back into Madison, you are technically included in this tornado warning, but it does appear the area of interest is going to sit to the south of Madison. It's going to sit to the south of the Huntsville Metro area. So if you're in Huntsville, the Huntsville metro area or surrounding, back into Madison, anywhere along 565, it looks like our area of interest is going to sit just to the south. So here's Triana. We're watching an area of rotation here, just to the west. Again, this is south of 565. 565 runs east and west, eventually meets up with I-65. Here's I-65, and then here's Balmina. We're watching an area of rotation that is just to the south of 565. So if you are in the Madison area, if you are in Huntsville, I think it is safe to say that the area of interest is probably not going to impact you.
It looks like we've got two. We're watching this one by Triana, and then we've got this one that is just off to the south of 565.
So two different areas of...
and the Weather Service agreed. They said they're going to keep the warning going because they're seeing a new area of rotation.
So this is something we're going to continue to watch. So this is something we need to pay attention to, especially because we're getting across the 565 corridor. And we all know 565 is almost always crowded. So that's something we're going to pay attention to over the next couple of minutes. As this storm continues to move. So we have two different areas of rotation. Emily's gone ahead and circled those for us. We have the first area of rotation that is just to the west of Triana, and then we've got another area of rotation. It's a little harder to pick up on, but it's in this smaller circle that's almost right along the 565 corridor. So I think at this point, if you are anywhere in this polygon, you probably need to be getting to your tornado safe place. I think at this point, the only exception might be Balmina. It kind of looks like this activity is to the east at this point of Balmina. So I think if you're in Balmina, you are probably fine. But if you're in Madison, if you're in the Huntsville metro area, you might want to consider getting to your tornado safe place.
We just got a new scan update, and it did look like it broadened.
Yeah, it does look like it kind of broadened up just a little bit. Still some impressive wind here.
Well, this one to the west of Triana is really holding.
Yeah, this area here, but we were paying attention to this in another area up by 565. Kind of looks like that fell apart. So we're going to continue to watch this area here, just to the west of Triana. Emily, throw open our shear rate. I kind of want to see how that's maintained. There we go. Yeah, so those almost line up perfectly. We are talking about some really impressive shear here, as indicated by the brighter greens getting into some of the darker reds here just to the west of Triana. That would indicate some solid rotation. Wind shear is a change in wind speed and wind direction with height. So when you get that change in wind speed and wind direction with height, that is a really solid indicator that we are talking about some rotation. Now, I believe this activity is moving to the east. I want to say at about 45 miles per hour, maybe even a little faster.
50
miles per hour. So Emily, if you could, go ahead and let's pinpoint our area of rotation here. And then go from that exact area of rotation just to the south of New Haven. And let's put a track on that area of rotation. Other indications of some storm damage, we'll get to those in just a little bit. So if you are in the box of cities, you really need to be getting into your tornado safe place. At Triana, 733, Lacey Springs, 743, Farley by 745. Now I say everybody in the box, but it's worth mentioning that Burroughs on down is actually beyond the life of the tornado warning. The tornado warning is set to expire at 7:45, but this particular area of rotation that's getting ready to move over Triana has really kind of held itself together. Maybe it's broadening up just a little bit, but it's done a really good job at holding itself together. So Burroughs at 746, Bailey Cove Estates by 747, and then this storm's going to continue to move to the east. By the time we get close to 8 o'clock, it would be in Owens Crossroads. So if you're in Owens Crossroads, if you're in Bellevue Heights, you probably need to think about heading to your tornado safe place.
They just dropped Limestone County from this, but we are still seeing tornado warning for Madison and Morgan until 7:45.
So good information there from Emily. If you're in Limestone County, at this point, you are in the clear. You have been dropped from the tornado warning. Now, you're still talking about the severe thunderstorm warning. The severe thunderstorm warning is going to run in Limestone County until 7:45, but you've been dropped from the tornado warning, and there the polygon just updated. So if you're just joining us this evening, we have a tornado warning that is in effect for Madison County and Morgan County. That tornado warning is going to run until 7:45. We've been watching an area of rotation right around Triana. It's been doing a really good job at holding itself together probably over the last 15 minutes. Now, some folks, a lot of folks obviously, are in the Huntsville metro area back into Madison. So here's the Huntsville metro area. Here's 565, and then you get to 65. So if you're in the Huntsville metro area, if you're in Madison, I think y'all are going to be fine because the area that we've been watching is south of 565. Well to the south of 565, as a matter of fact. So if you're in the Huntsville metro area, if you're in Madison, no, I don't think you're really under the gun. We're going to continue to watch this area here. This is more southern Madison County getting into Morgan County. That's why Morgan County is included in this tornado warning. So we have a tornado warning that is in effect for Madison County and Morgan County. That tornado warning is going to run until 7:45. If you're in Bluff City, you're probably in your tornado safe place. I think you'll be able to come out of your tornado safe place here in the next couple of minutes. If you're in Triana, you really need to be in your tornado safe place. Bailey Cove Estates, Bravo, you need to consider. I think this activity is going to go to the south of Bailey Cove Estates and to the south of Bravo, but you might want to think about maybe getting up just in case this storm ends up taking more of a northeasterly track. If you're in Owens Crossroads, you really need to be getting your things together and potentially preparing to head to your tornado safe place. You are included in the tornado warning, but this storm is still a few minutes from you. It'll be probably close to 7:50, 7:55-ish before this storm gets to Owens Crossroads. So if you're in Owens Crossroads, this would also then include, Hampton Cove. You probably need to consider getting into your tornado safe place. So some good news here. Emily has gone ahead and thrown up our shear map. And it looks like the shear has kind of backed off a little bit, which would be a solid indicator that maybe the rotation is backing off a little bit. I don't notice a whole lot of lightning. As a matter of fact, I don't see any lightning within this storm. I do have a report kind of unrelated to this tornado warning that while there are fire trucks up at the Hazel Green Walmart, the actual damage is not confirmed. I want to go ahead and get a banner on TV if you don't mind there back in production. The cell phone number to text us your damage reports. That number is 256-382-2692. If anybody lives in the Meridianville, Hazel Green area, and you can go out safely and potentially get some pictures of what's going on maybe up at the Hazel Green Walmart, and you can do so safely, only if you can do so safely, I would love to see some photos from the Hazel Green area. But again, and you can text those right to us. The number is 256-382-2692. But I've also been told that a lot of the power is out. I'm reading a text right now that a lot of the power is out up around Hazel Green and the Hazel Green Walmart in that area. So it potentially might not be safe to head up there. But if it is safe, I would love to see some photos from the Meridianville, Hazel Green area, more specifically Hazel Green, and then around the Walmart. So back to our tornado warning we go. We have a tornado warning in effect for Madison County and Morgan County. Less than 10 minutes left on this tornado warning. And Emily, it doesn't really look like we're talking about impressive rotation. I know you had our shear rate up just a couple of seconds ago. And it kind of looks like the wind shear has really fallen off quite a bit. I don't see...
This would kind of be where we would be watching, but it is very, very broad, like you mentioned. Mm-hmm. So definitely within the past few scans, this thing has deadened a little.
Yeah, I definitely would agree with you there that it does look like we have seen some definite weakening within this storm. So here's Triana. It does look like, since it's gone from west to east, that this storm has maybe fallen apart just a little bit. And there, the radar just updated once again. Still talking about a little bit of rotation here. You kind of see some of these reds and these greens colliding. Now, the reds and the greens are winds moving toward and away from the radar. There is a little bit of collision here, but I'm not really that confident in what I see right here. That doesn't really match up with what this storm has been doing over the last 10 or 15 minutes. Flip it back over to our shear rate again now that the radar has updated. Yeah, shear rate's kind of all over the place at this point. So we've got a little bit of shear here, but it's really kind of foggy. It's really kind of difficult to point out any obvious signs of really solid wind shear. And I think that's some definite good news. Now, there is some rotation within these storms as you go up in altitude, but I think
they are going to let the tornado warning expire at 7:45, but they are going to issue a severe thunderstorm warning out ahead of it.
Okay, so definitely some good news there. A little bit of good, a little bit of bad. The good news here is that we are going to let the tornado warning expire. The tornado warning that is in effect for Madison County and Morgan County, we are going to let that tornado warning expire. The National Weather Service is going to go ahead and replace that with a severe thunderstorm warning. Now, considering the fact that this tornado warning, this storm really kind of shaped up in a very short period of time, I think we're going to stick with you for at least a little while, and we'll at least talk about what we see for a little while, and maybe we'll take some tours of the radar. So if you're in Chelsea, you're talking about a lot of very heavy rain. The Huntsville metro area at this point is talking about quite a bit of rain. Also on this big picture view, there is a little bit of lightning. The lightning is not terribly impressive, and that's definitely some good news that we're not talking about a lot of lightning. But we are talking about some very heavy rain, and we're likely talking about some gusty winds. Anybody traveling along 565, if you know anybody out and about this evening, I know it's New Year's night. Maybe people are still going out. If you know anybody traveling along 565, it's probably going to take them another couple of minutes to get home or to wherever they're going, because we are talking at this point about a lot of very heavy rain. Back across 565, we're talking about some very heavy rain back across the Huntsville metro area, down into Chelsea, still down here into Triana, we're talking about some heavy rain. Madison would be talking about a lot of very heavy rain. So we just got that brand new severe thunderstorm warning, Emily. It looks like they're going to go ahead. Jackson and Madison. I can only read so much on a watch.
Jackson, Madison, and portions of Franklin County, Tennessee. This is going to last until 8:30 p.m. So what they did tag along with this severe thunderstorm warning, though, is that wind up to 60 miles per hour could be possible, and also about 3/4 of an inch of hail size.
So definitely some notes there. We are talking about some incredibly gusty winds within this severe thunderstorm. Again, Emily mentioned 60-mile-per-hour winds, and then 3/4 inch size hail. So that is actually some really sizable hail.
Hey, real quick, Jordan, I just got information from the Madison Sheriff's Department. They said that the areas of Charity Lane and Nix Road are closed for traffic at this time due to storm damage. You definitely will need to choose an alternate route if you are in these areas. So once again, the areas of Charity Lane and Nix Road are closed. And while I was reading that, they did go ahead and expire the tornado warning.
So definitely some good news there. For one, y'all are going to want to take note of the road closure from the Madison County Sheriff, I believe Emily said that was from.
Yes, Charity Lane and Nix Road.
So some good information there. Pay attention to that Charity Lane and Nix Road. Apparently it's just closed because of storm damage. I don't know what that storm damage is. I don't know if that's structural or if trees are down.
That's in Hazel Green.
So that's also up in Hazel Green. So that continues to bring about the problems that we've seen in Hazel Green this evening. And at this point, we've seen a lot of different things go on in Hazel Green. And I kind of wish I had a bulleted list that I could show you. But we have had a lot of reports out of northern Madison County a lot of damage reports this evening out of the Hazel Green area. So what I do know, what I can tell you, is that apparently a lot of the power is out surrounding the Hazel Green Walmart. There was a fire department presence at the Hazel Green Walmart. And then, as Emily was just telling us, roads up in Hazel Green, Charity Lane and Nix Road are closed because of storm damage. Now, I'm not 100% sure what that storm damage is, whether it's fallen trees that are now blocking the road, or if there's some sort of structural damage. But we do have a lot of damage reports, at least coming out of northern Madison County up around Hazel Green. And we've also gotten some reports of damage earlier out of Newmarket. So that's something we're going to continue to monitor. We're going to continue to try and figure out. I'll probably ask Emily to continue to monitor the Sheriff's Department page, see if they can get any pictures. And if they post any pictures, I would love to show them to y'all, so we'll try and get those. In the meantime, and I'll ask our production to put up the banner again, if you guys have any pictures that you would like to share, we really appreciate it. If you could text those photos to us, the number is 256-382-2692. There it is, right at the bottom of your screen. 256-382-2692. We can go ahead and leave that banner up for just a little bit. So the tornado warning that was in effect for Madison and Morgan counties has been allowed to expire. So I know the polygon is still there. And I know it includes the Huntsville metro area, but the tornado warning that was in effect for Madison and Morgan counties has since been allowed to expire. So some definite good news there. It was replaced with this more broad-reaching severe thunderstorm warning. It includes Franklin County up in southern Middle Tennessee, Madison County, Jackson County. I also believe that severe thunderstorm warning includes Morgan County.
I've got a new update about the Hazel Green area. So Huntsville Utilities is responding to an outage in the Hazel Green area. It is impacting customers from the Tennessee state line south to the Ready Section Road and from Old Railroad Bed Road east to Highway 231 and 431. They're saying that service will be restored as quickly as possible. They are saying that the cause is still unknown. If I had to bet, I would say it obviously is damaging wind gusts. We've gotten multiple reports around the Hazel Green area tonight. Some areas have damage to their homes. We got multiple reports of damage to the Walmart in Hazel Green. They did say that portions of the roof had blown off of the Hazel Green Walmart. But we are seeing multiple damage reports coming from the Hazel Green community. But we haven't seen any damage reports so far from this previous tornado warned storm. But obviously, as we get the reports in, we will obviously share those with you. But once again, back towards the Hazel Green community, like I said, multiple structures damaged, really near the intersection of Jane and Charity Lane in the Newmarket area. I understand that there are multiple structures damaged on Highway 231 and 431 in the Hazel Green area. And we just got a new one that said a storm spotter is also reporting damage at the Verizon building in Hazel Green. And the county fire is actually reporting that Verizon and the Hibbets Sports has some major damage. Also, Twins River subdivision in Hazel Green, they've suffered some damage of privacy fences, which is not far from the Walmart that I said previously did have some storm-related damage. I do believe that portions of the roof of the Walmart had been blown off.
So a lot of information there coming from Emily, and I hope you guys are able to digest that. I'm trying to respond to a viewer that is trying to send me some video.
Well, one more real quick while you're doing that. Okay. They're literally coming in. The ones that are still without power in the area, they include those west of Highway 231. There are several poles down on Charity Lane. So this is up towards Hazel Green as well on 231.
So a lot of damage coming out of the Hazel Green area. So that's something that we need to continue to be mindful of. That's something that we need to continue to pay attention for. I'm trying to talk and text all at the same time. Someone
still having a like I said, we still haven't gotten any new storm reports or anything like that from the previous tornado warning that we had for Madison County. So that is some good news. Hopefully there will not be any damage reports or damage photos coming. But yeah, like we said, I'll just read off some more if you're just now joining us. We have received reports of damage in the Hazel Green area. I'm reading these from the National Weather Service chat. It's what we use to correspond with the National Weather Service in Huntsville. So like we said, the Twin Rivers subdivision in Hazel Green, they've suffered damage of privacy fences, which is not far from the Walmart. That was reported by a storm spotter, and the county fire is reporting that the Verizon and the Hibbets building have major damage within the Hazel Green area. That's also coming from a storm spotter and the county fire. And then earlier we did report that there was roof damage to the Walmart in Hazel Green. There are also a lot of power outages in Hazel Green. They do have a lot of really damage up there, but so far we have no confirmation on what caused this damage, but so far that's all we've got coming out of the Hazel Green community is some trees blown over, power lines down, some minor damage to residences, and then of course the Hibbets and the Verizon in Hazel Green does have some major damage according to the county fire and according to a storm spotter. And it does look like the Walmart in Hazel Green has suffered some storm damage. I did read earlier that the roof has come off of part of the Walmart. And it does look like we've had some roofs come off of 2 trailers. But that's really all that I'm seeing right now. So it just looks like wind damage at the moment, but obviously things can definitely change between now and then.
So I will kind of clarify to a lot of that damage, a lot of those damage reports that Emily gave us. She mentioned the Verizon building, the Hibbett Sports building, and then we are obviously talking about the Walmart. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with the Hazel Green area, all of that is really condensed, kind of right next to each other. And I'm also getting some further reports that maybe y'all are having an issue or two. I'm hearing my audio. I do apologize for that. I am trying my best to literally get it fixed as we speak. But I'm not entirely sure what I can
We've been having issues with this for quite some time, but like we said, we are trying everything that we can to get this fixed for you guys.
So I kind of want to recap one more time a little bit of what Emily just said. She listed off a lot of damage reports, a lot of really interesting damage reports out of the Hazel Green area, but there's also one thing that she was sure to mention, and I want to reiterate that back to y'all. She said that as of right now, we don't have any damage reports resulting from the tornado warning that we had in effect a little while ago for Limestone, Madison, and Morgan County. So while we do have a lot of damage reports out of Hazel Green, and that is obviously some very bad news, we don't have any damage reports as a result of the tornado warning. So that is certainly a little bit of good news. At this point in the evening, we don't have any active tornado warnings across the Tennessee Valley. So while we're also talking about the severe thunderstorm warning, at this point, Emily and I are really trying to hear from y'all. We want to hear y'all's storm reports. That's why we've got the phone number there at the bottom of the screen. You can text your damage reports, your photos, your videos. Sometimes I have problems getting the videos into this phone number. But you can text your damage reports, your photos. You can also email jdressman@tegna.com. I would love to hear your guys' reports, see your photos, and see your videos. But you can also easily text if you can't email. The number's right there on your screen. 256-382-2692. You can also find Emily and myself on Facebook. Emily's is just Emily Owen. You can search for it in the top bar. You can also search for me, Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman, and you can also join the Tennessee Valley's FOX54 Weather Network, and you can share your photos and your damage reports there. So there's a lot of ways for y'all to share your damage reports and your photos with us, and Emily and I, we would greatly appreciate that so that we can take what y'all tell us and then tell it to everybody else. So what we're talking about at this point in the evening is we're talking about a severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for, this is another very large, broad severe thunderstorm warning for Madison County, Jackson County, I want to say Morgan County, I'm not 100% sure. But it's a very large severe thunderstorm warning, and I believe it runs until 8:30 this evening. So we're talking about a lot of very heavy rain. Here's Newmarket. We do have some damage reports out of Newmarket that we were talking about earlier. Still talking about a lot of very heavy rain and some gusty winds. The big concern with this severe thunderstorm warning is going to be the threat for the gusty winds. Wind gusts in excess of 60, potentially 70 miles per hour. And then we're also talking about some hail. Emily, I want you to put on a hail swath real quick. I want to see what if, and okay, maybe we haven't seen a ton of hail. So the little pink hashes indicate where we may have seen a little bit of hail. Hail is obviously not a major issue. We've seen a little bit of hail, and hail is going to continue to be a concern. But we don't have this long track of hail. What a hail swath would show us is it would show us the history that this storm has of producing sizable hail. And that's something we definitely don't see. So what we're talking about at this point in the evening is some very heavy rain, some very gusty winds, a lot of thunder, a lot of noise. These storms are going to make a lot of noise. And we are also talking about just a little bit of lightning. Lightning, right now the counter is at 6, and that covers everything that you see here on the map. So not a lot of lightning. Honestly, the lightning is not terribly impressive. The only time we've really seen impressive lightning this evening is when we see some of these storms strengthen. So we're going to continue to monitor this line of showers and thunderstorms. I think I want to stick with y'all for at least a little while we continue to watch this activity as we continue to go into the duration of the evening. So back across the Huntsville metro area, we're talking about a lot of heavy rain, some gusty winds. Much the same once you get up towards Newmarket and then up into southern Middle Tennessee. Here's Winchester up in southern Middle Tennessee. We're talking about some very heavy rain. We're actually beginning to dry things out a little bit, maybe back across 565. Still talking about a fair amount of rain down Decatur, down towards Priceville, talking about some heavy rain. But at this point, we're not talking about any tornado warnings. Emily, I want to zoom things out and let's go back to the Columbus radar, and I kind of want to look at northeast Mississippi. So this is what is still to come. All of this activity is moving to the east, and we're going to continue to watch this band because within this band, we could have some incredibly gusty winds, and within this main line, we do have the potential for some strong or severe thunderstorms. The potential is there within this main line that we could get 1 or 2 tornado warnings. So this is a line of showers and thunderstorms that, while not warned, we're going to continue to watch over the next several minutes and over the next couple of hours as it eventually moves into Alabama. We're going to continue to watch it for further development, and we're going to watch and pay really close attention to see how this line acts over the next several minutes. So we can zoom back in on North Alabama and southern Middle Tennessee, and we can talk about our severe thunderstorm warning here. We are talking about a lot of rain back across northwest Alabama, Lauderdale, Colbert, down into Franklin County, a little bit of rain. Folks in Franklin County are actually somewhat dry at this point, but we are talking about a lot of rain across Lauderdale and Colbert County. We can go ahead and switch back over to the Huntsville radar and kind of shift things over a little bit and go back to our severe thunderstorm warning. So severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect until 8:30. It encompasses a lot of the Tennessee Valley. Madison County, Jackson County, really going to be our main focuses, and then Franklin County up in southern Middle Tennessee. Severe thunderstorm warning is going to run until 8:30. So if you're in Scottsboro, you are included in the severe thunderstorm warning, but there's not a whole lot going on in Scottsboro right now. That not to say that things aren't going to change, because we're talking about this band of very heavy rain and very gusty winds. This band is going to continue to move to the east. These storms have been moving somewhat quickly this evening, anywhere between 45 and 50 miles per hour. So we're going to continue to pay attention to this band. Eventually, it is going to move into Scottsboro. Eventually, the bulk of this band is going to move into Stevenson. If you're in Stevenson, you're probably talking about a fair amount of rain this evening. But I expect that's going to intensify probably over the next 15 to 30 minutes. You've still got this entire band of very heavy rain back across Newmarket, down into Huntsville. We're still talking about a fair amount of rain back across Decatur and then down into Priceville. That would then continue further south, Hartselle, and then down into Falkville, through Morgan County, and then down into Coleman County. We're also still talking about a lot of activity up across southern Middle Tennessee. If you're in Fayetteville, if you're in Winchester, you're talking about some very heavy rain, some gusty winds, and just a little bit of lightning at this point. Again, I mentioned this a little while ago. The lightning hasn't been all that impressive unless these storms tend to go through some sort of a strengthening. Emily, I want to go over to the tornado watch. We can look at the tornado watch for a little bit, because we have seen some change in the tornado watch, and we talked about this change the last time, but we can talk about it again. So almost all of North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee is sitting under a tornado watch, with the exception of Lauderdale and Colbert counties in North Alabama and Giles County up in southern Middle Tennessee. Those three counties are not sitting under the tornado watch. Everybody else remains under a tornado watch. Tornado watch not going to expire until 2 o'clock in the morning. This tornado watch was extended a little while ago. I think it was extended right around the top of the hour, actually, right around 7 o'clock. They chose to extend the tornado watch. So tornado watch now not going to expire until 7 o'clock this evening. So we can go back to radar, Emily, if you want. And we can talk about what we see. Just reading some storm reports here. Trying to respond to a viewer. Okay, so multitasking at its finest, y'all. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Madison County, Jackson County, and Franklin County up in southern Middle Tennessee. Severe thunderstorm warning is going to run until 8:30, so we've still got a half hour left on the severe thunderstorm warning. Biggest concern going to be damaging winds, wind gusts in excess of 60 miles per hour, and then we're also talking about a lot of very heavy rain that could lead to the potential for some flash flooding. So that's something we're going to continue to pay attention to. That's something we're going to continue to monitor.
I'm not seeing any new reports so far, so that definitely is some good news. I'm actually on Algo's website trying to see. They've been posting about road closures, but nothing so far.
Emily, do we have an update on power outages? I know Huntsville Utilities provides an outage map. I'm not sure what the odds are. You can just Google Huntsville Utilities and pull up the power outages map, and we'll see what we can get there. Huntsville Utilities does have a really useful outage map that any of y'all can get to, but I want to see if maybe I can get Emily to, when she gets a chance, to pull it up.
It says that service, I'm on their Twitter feed right now because I know that they tweet out a lot too, but it says that the service has been restored to the majority of the customers in the previously mentioned area of Hazel Green, but those that are still without power in the area, which includes those west of Highway 231, they're still without power because there are several poles down on Charity Lane. So Huntsville Utilities is really working hard to get these power outages fixed pretty quickly, but I'm going to try to pull up the utility map if I can. I'll let Jordan take it over from here while I pull this map up, and I'll try to show it to you guys.
So certainly some good news there. And remember, there is a direct correlation between what Emily just mentioned. She mentioned Charity Lane up towards Hazel Green. Now remember, Charity Lane Charity Lane, not Rain, Charity Lane and Nix Road up towards Hazel Green are both closed. And Emily just kind of mentioned that they're both closed because there are some power poles down, and that is one of the spots that does not yet have power restored. But Emily was reading some updates from Huntsville Utilities, and that they have gotten a lot of the power turned back on. So that is certainly some good news there, and obviously a big thank you to the Huntsville Utilities crews. I'm
going to drag this over to our radar, and well, let me do the F11 thing. That way we can kind of see. And I want you guys to notice that there really is a line, honestly, of power outages right now that run through Hazel Green, runs all the way from 53 right along 431, 231, and really goes all the way up to the Tennessee-Alabama state line. But notice south of Meridianville, just north of Huntsville, they're seeing about 201 to 1,300 customers still without power. But here in the Huntsville Metro, it looks like we're not really seeing a lot of power outages, but that specific line that really runs all the way from Tony through Hazel Green up to the Alabama-Tennessee state line right around 121 in Tennessee, that kind of concerns me a little bit, that it's that straight of a line.
It really does seem to follow some very linear line. I'm trying to respond to our digital guy. I should just...
Let's see. I don't see any new damage reports. I've been trying to watch the cameras too, but really the only reports that we've seen are coming from Hazel Green. They did go ahead and cancel the severe thunderstorm warning for Madison County, but they are going to continue it for Jackson County until 8:30. So we've got about 27 minutes left. Radar indicated 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, hail right around 3.47 inch in diameter could be a possibility as well. But right now, we're just watching this severe thunderstorm warning. We don't have any tornado warnings right now, just this severe thunderstorm warning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and back it out so you guys can really see the DMA as a whole. Our designated market area is what DMA stands for. We are continuing to see some rain in areas like Lauderdale, Colbert counties. Notice how these reports pop up. We've got reports of some thunderstorm wind damage in Lauderdale County. We've also got hail reports right around Cherokee, Alabama, which is in Colbert County, right along that Alabama-Mississippi state line just to the south of Waterloo. But I will swap this over to our Columbus radar. That way you can kind of see that this isn't the only rain that we're going to be getting. What is coming through the Huntsville Metro, down south towards Hartselle into Coleman County, really just following that I-65 interstate line. But notice all the way through Tupelo into areas of Oxford, really seeing some heavy rainfall. Haven't seen any severe thunderstorm warnings or anything like this in the Mississippi area, so that definitely is some good news. But that cold front is eventually going to make its way here to us and bring in this secondary line of showers and storms that's really riding the cold front at the moment. But like we've been mentioning before, we've gotten a pretty good bit of storm damage reports from Hazel Green. Here's one. We've got some thunderstorm wind damage, and it looks like that's really going to carry all the way up to that Alabama-Tennessee state line just to the north of Hazel Green, following that 231, Highway 231, right around Bucks Mill. But we haven't gotten any reports of any injuries, so that definitely is some good news as well. But the Hazel Green community, it looks like they've been hit by some thunderstorm wind damage. Like we mentioned earlier, the Hibbett's in Hazel Green and the Verizon building in Hazel Green has been reported as damaged, major damage actually. And of course, some residences in Hazel Green have had some minor damage. I know we've got a report earlier of a privacy fence that was damaged from the winds that moved through earlier. That was actually the same system that did some damage to the Hazel Green Walmart. I do know that some of their roof got blown off of Hazel Green, and I understand that There are crews out in Hazel Green right now working on everything, and obviously trying to get some power back on for these folks. But as of right now, we just only have this severe thunderstorm warning, and it's really about to run into the Huntsville radar, so things probably look a little messy right now on radar, but this is going to continue just for Jackson, Alabama. This does stream into Franklin, Tennessee, but that's not in our viewing area. So we're really just focused on Jackson right now. This is going to run until 8:30 p.m. So let me swap this back over to the Huntsville radar so you guys can see that little hole right there. That's where the Huntsville radar is currently located. So notice it'll get a little noisy once it gets closer to the radar site, but right now we're really just watching all of this rain. So Jackson County under that severe thunderstorm warning. Portions of Marshall County can expect some rain soon. Coleman County as well as DeKalb County. I know they've been pretty quiet for the majority of the day, but as I was talking about yesterday, we were going to see a line that would fire out ahead of the main line of storms, and this is what we were talking about. This is the particular line that we were talking about that would come ahead of the cold front. So the first really area of concern that we had, that's eventually going to move its way into the Stevenson area, the Henniger area, Grant right along Gunnersville Lake, Albertville, Arab. Fort Payne can expect some rain soon. Sylvania. Let me put a track on this actually for you guys. I do want to say, let's see, this is actually moving at around, well, it doesn't say. It just says that we can expect winds up to 60 miles per hour with this. So what I'm going to do, I'm really expecting this to take somewhat of a northeastward track. So what I'm going to do is I'll put a track on this, and I'll kind of give you some idea of areas that can expect the rain from the severe thunderstorm warning in just a moment. So Crow Mountain right around 8:15. Now keep in mind this warning does expire at 8:30. We have had no confirmation whether this particular severe thunderstorm warning is going to downstream or if they're just going to go ahead and let it expire. But Crow Mountain at 8:15, Pleasant Grove at 8:20, Eureka at 8:21, Stevenson 8:23, Cooper's Mill at 8:26, and then South Pittsburgh we start to get into Tennessee right over that state line. So this will be areas of Tennessee like Shiloh 8:35. But even if this warning does expire, we're expecting things to really get pretty loud here for those areas that I just called out. So I'm going to clear this off of the radar, and I'll once again zoom back out. I do want to go ahead and show you guys the new tornado watch that got issued. They did allow Lauderdale County, Giles County, and Colbert County to not be included in this, so the entire Tennessee Valley is included in this tornado watch until 2 a.m. Sunday morning. And if you don't remember the differences between a tornado watch and a tornado warning, tornado watch means that conditions are favorable for tornado development. It's not that we're seeing any tornado warning right now from it. The atmosphere is just primed for tornado warnings. So like I said, we're watching an area of showers right now moving through Coleman County, right around the West Point area, really right along that I-65 corridor, Coleman County, south of Vinemont, Falkville, Eva, seeing some rain at times. Huntsville Metro, light on precipitation right now, but it does look like back off towards Madison, seeing some pretty heavy rainfall at this moment. But yeah, we're just continuing to watch this severe thunderstorm warning that we've got. For Jackson County, this will last until 8:30. It looks like there's a power line down and a tree on fire in High Top, Alabama. Are you seeing that, Jordan?
Yeah, I saw that. I'm going to let you investigate. I'll take back over for a little bit. That's a very interesting storm report. I think it literally says that it literally says that there is a power line down and a tree on fire at High Top. So I'm going to let Emily investigate that. Emily, check the sheriff's department, maybe. I'm not entirely sure who you would. I'll let you figure that one out. Now, High Top is where Huntsville keeps its radar. We can
So I'll zoom into it real quick so you guys can see.
So high top is where the Huntsville radar is. So really anything that goes wrong at high top is rather cause for concern. But a power line down and a tree on fire is definitely not good. So Emily was talking about a lot of storm reports, and there's one area that we have not heard any reports from, and that involved the tornado warning earlier that we had for Limestone and Madison counties. We have not heard any storm reports from that area yet. We never heard if it was a confirmed tornado on the ground. We saw some radar products that might have indicated as such, but we never got confirmed reports of a tornado. So if you know of any damage reports or of any storm photos that you can go safely get and then send to me, I would really appreciate it. Again, the number's there at the bottom of the screen, 256-382-2692. Emily, you can just kind of zoom out to a general picture of North Alabama and southern Middle Tennessee. And then I will kind of talk from there. National Weather Service is watching a couple of different things, so we'll be mindful of that over the next few minutes. So Emily kind of mentioned, can we take off the phone number banner now for a little while? Thank you all so much. I really appreciate it. So Emily mentioned the other line of showers and thunderstorms back across northwest Alabama. That is also a line that's going to have to be watched for some severe development as we go throughout the next couple of hours as that line moves through North Alabama and southern Middle Tennessee. Nothing with that line is warned right now, but it's something we're going to continue to monitor over the next several minutes. In the meantime, what we do have across the Tennessee Valley is we do have the severe thunderstorm warning. The severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for Madison and Jackson County, and actually it might just be Jackson County at this point. Nope, it still does bleed in a little bit to Madison County. Madison and Jackson County, maybe just Jackson. Severe thunderstorm warning runs until 8:30. So we still got about another 15 minutes on that severe thunderstorm warning. Wouldn't be the least bit surprised if they continue this severe thunderstorm warning as it continues to cross through Jackson County. So we were talking about Stevenson and Scottsboro a little while ago. You're in that severe thunderstorm warning. Do I think you need to be in any sort of tornado safe place? No, probably not. You're perfectly fine for the time being. Now things could always change, but for right now, you're fine sitting on your couch. Things are going to get really noisy here, though, in Jackson County as we head into Stevenson and as we head into Scottsboro. Now, we've got a couple of different cameras, but I can't imagine they're going to be very good at this point in the evening. Obviously, it's 8:15. So I can't imagine those cameras are going to do a lot of good for us. But things are going to get really loud with this line of showers and thunderstorms. Our biggest concern has been and is going to continue to be the 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, the threat for a little bit of hail, 3/4 inch hail. That's going to continue to be a threat, though thankfully I haven't seen a ton of hail within these storms. So that is definitely some good news. But the possibility is there that some of these storms could come with a little bit of hail. But our biggest area of concern is going to be the area that involves the severe thunderstorm warning back into Jackson County. There's Stevenson, and then there's Scottsboro. Obviously, we're not talking about Fort Payne yet. We're not talking about Albertville yet. Here's Grant. Grant at this point is talking about a little bit of rain. I think that rainfall is going to pick up in intensity in the Grant community sooner rather than later. We're still talking about a lot of rain back across the Huntsville metro area, and then if we head up the road a little bit, up to 231, now we're getting into Meridianville, Hazel Green, and that's where we've seen a lot of those damage reports. Remember, there are a couple of different roads closed up towards Hazel Green, and Emily was talking about those earlier. Those roads are closed because some power poles are down, and that's where the power continues to be out. Huntsville Utilities has worked really hard to get a lot of that power restored, and so that's obviously something we're very grateful for up towards Hazel Green. Things are a little quieter up there, which hopefully will allow Huntsville utilities some extra time to maybe get the last of the folks their power back on. But scattered showers continue to hang out up across northern Madison County and then up into southern Middle Tennessee. And then we are talking about more widespread rain back down into Morgan County, back down into Coleman County, talking about some widespread rain. Now, this activity down into Morgan County and down into Coleman County, none of that activity is warned. Not a severe thunderstorm warning, doesn't have a tornado warning attached to it. The only severe thunderstorm warning we have at this point is for Jackson County. That involves Stevenson and Scottsboro. Those are going to be a couple of the bigger cities. Now, Ider, you are not included in the severe thunderstorm warning, but I anticipate that's going to change. So the time right now is right around 8:16, 8:17. So we've still got about 13 minutes left on the severe thunderstorm warning.
But like you mentioned, this thunderstorm warning is set to expire within the next 20 or so minutes. It's currently 8:17. This is set to expire at 8:30. So it does look like Jordan will probably stay with you for a little bit just to make sure this doesn't really start to ramp up in any rotation or anything. They haven't been talking about that. They did mention a very, very broad area of rotation that passed through. It did pass through the high top area where our radar is located. But other than that, we haven't seen anything whatsoever, any reports of damage or anything like that. But we just have continued to see some damage reports from the Hazel Green area.
So we're going to continue to monitor those damage reports over the next several minutes and see if we can get anything in. The other thing we have also not seen through the life of these thunderstorms, we have not seen any damage reports from the tornado warning that we had earlier for Limestone and Madison County. Remember, we had that tornado warning, that area of rotation just to the south of 565. We have not seen any damage reports come from that. So certainly some good news there, but if you know of any damage that may have occurred, as always, you can let us know. So we can kind of go on a tour of radar for the time being. Let's see what we've got. We're going to work our way south to north. We're going to start in Coleman County. Coleman County talking about a little bit of rain. We can continue up into Morgan County. We're talking about a little bit of rain, maybe even a little bit of thunder. Back into the Huntsville metro area, we're still talking about a fair amount of rain, a fair amount of heavy rain, as a matter of fact. And then we can get up into our severe thunderstorm warning. So this is our severe thunderstorm warning here. Let me attempt to zoom in on our severe thunderstorm warning just a little bit. I don't want to zoom in a ton. Let me turn that off so I don't zoom in too much. So I'm going to kind of move this. Here is our line. Here's our line that we're paying attention to. Trying to find, there it is. So here's our line. Here's our severe thunderstorm warning. That's a terrible line, but you all get the picture. If you're in Skyline, the heaviest part of this line has just moved through your neck of the woods. So certainly some good news there. Pleasant Grove, very heavy rain moving through your neck of the woods right now. And then down into Limrock, some very heavy rain, probably a little bit of thunder, some gusty winds also moving through. Now, here's what we have out to the east of this line. I'm going to go ahead and take off my poorly drawn line. I'm going to take that off, and I'm going to turn that off. If you're in Hollywood, maybe you're talking about a couple of sprinkles. Here's Scottsboro. Scottsboro is still dry for the time being. But I expect that is going to change here in the next few minutes. So we're kind of highlighting our severe thunderstorm warning here. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Jackson County, most of Jackson County as a matter of fact, until 8:30. Here's Hollywood, here's Scottsboro. Both locations are dry right now. But here's this line. Here's kind of this line associated with this severe thunderstorm. And this line where we get some of these reds, this is where we're going to see that punch really be packed. Here's Huntsville High Top. And then we get down into Skyline. and then we get down into Pleasant Grove. All at this point are beginning to find themselves on the back side of this main line. Now, within this line, you're going to get a lot of noise. You're actually not going to get a lot of lightning. I want you to pay attention to the fact that our lightning counter currently sits at 0. So you're not going to get a lot of lightning here. You're going to get a lot of noise, though. I expect we'll be talking about a fair amount of thunder. We're also going to be talking about some gusty winds within this main line associated with this severe thunderstorm warning. The severe thunderstorm warning runs until 8:30. Our biggest concern within this line is going to be gusty winds, wind gusts in excess of 60 miles per hour, and some very heavy rain. So I actually want to talk about that heavy rain for a little bit. Let me see if I can do this. I want to take us back. I kind of want to throw on rainfall accumulations. I want to look at the last 6 hours, see if we can't do that. And I want to point out something because we are actually talking about we have a flash flood warning. We're going to pause from the flash flood warning a little bit. I was told I have a photo I want to show y'all. This came from Giles County. Now, I'm not entirely sure who took the photo. Thank you so much for sending me the photo. I think you sent this to me through ZipWhip, so thank you so much for texting me this photo. I'm not entirely sure what road this is in Giles County. It looks like it was taken kind of when it was still daylight out, but that looks like a really big tree that was probably knocked over there in Giles County. So thank you so much to whomever sent me that photo. Again, I'm sorry, I don't know who sent me that photo, but thank you so much for sending me that photo. And hopefully maybe since that photo was taken, they've got that, maybe they've begun to get some of that tree cleaned up off of that road. We can go back to me now. Thank you all so much for showing that photo. I really appreciate that. So we are talking about a flash flood warning that is in effect for portions of Lauderdale County. And some folks up there have seen a fair amount of rain. Let me try and see if I can't highlight a couple of different, I'm using the wrong thing. That's why. So let's turn that off. What I'm looking to do, there we go. I'm looking to do this. I want to highlight a couple of areas. Now, this is over the last 6 hours. So here's northern Lauderdale County, and over the last 6 hours, some folks in Lauderdale County have seen 2.3 inches of rain. Now, that's a radar estimate. It's no guarantee, but it kind of drives home this message that some folks across the Tennessee Valley have seen some impressive amounts of rain. Sorry about that. I was just checking our National Weather Service chat. Now, some folks back across the Huntsville metro area, and I can kind of try and highlight some of these rainfall totals. And again, these are over the last 6 hours, some impressive rainfall totals for you. 1.5 to 2, probably close to 2.5 inches for this swath from southern Middle Tennessee down into portions of Jackson County, down into Madison County, slowly beginning to dive deeper into Morgan County. We've got this swath of 1.5 to 2, probably close to 2.5 inches of rain. I wouldn't be surprised if we're more 2.5 as opposed to 2.3. I know it's only 0.2 of an inch difference, but it matters. I wouldn't be surprised if we're closer to the 2.5 inch mark once we get to northern Lauderdale County. So if you are in northern Lauderdale County and Colbert County actually also sit under a flash flood warning. So Lauderdale and Colbert County are sitting under a flash flood warning. That's going to run until 10:15 this evening. So be incredibly mindful of that until that threat has passed. Flash flooding can occur somewhat quickly. So I want to go back to the radar because I do have an update for y'all. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning, so I kind of want to go back to that. Let's scoot this all the way over here. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect. I'm going to try, and it's much easier if I just pull this up. So we have a new severe thunderstorm warning for Jackson County and DeKalb County. That's going to run until 9:15. So a new severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Jackson County and then down into DeKalb County. That's That's going to run until 9:15. So here's Jackson County here, and then you can kind of see the black line that separates Jackson County and DeKalb County. Fort Payne is obviously in DeKalb County, but Fort Payne is not included in the severe thunderstorm warning. Henniger is included in the severe thunderstorm warning. So Henniger is going to be included. Stevenson is going to be included in the severe thunderstorm warning. Grant, you sit just outside the severe thunderstorm warning. So we're talking about wind gusts, not sustained winds, of 60 miles per hour. Going to be our biggest concern within this severe thunderstorm warning. Now, at the same time, I kind of want to go down here to Coleman County. It was kind of mentioned that we're watching this area down into Coleman County. So let me turn the zoom box off before I accidentally zoom in on something else. And I will flip this over to our velocity image. Wrong velocity. I want to pick this velocity. There we go. And I want to see maybe a little bit of very broad rotation, but nothing there worth much more than a mention. But we do have some stronger thunderstorms down near Coleman County. And then we are obviously talking about some stronger thunderstorms back up across Morgan County. Here's Owens Crossroads. We're probably not talking about much in the way of any thunderstorm activity at this point. But we are talking about a lot of rain, maybe a little bit of wind. We continue to not talk about much in the way of any thunder or any lightning. I mean, we're probably talking about a lot of thunder. I would imagine these storms are very loud. I got a text from a viewer. I kind of want to read it, see if it comes with a picture by chance. So I want to... I'm going to have Emily get this photo to our production department so I can show you guys that. It was a really good storm photo that I really wanted to show y'all. So hopefully we can get that for you. It'll take just a couple of minutes. I'm going to give that to Emily. So here's Hollywood. Here's Scottsboro. We're talking about main line of showers and thunderstorms just beginning to move into Hollywood, just beginning to move into Scottsboro. We have the brand new severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for Jackson and DeKalb. We actually have a new tornado warning that I want to tell you all about. So let me read the new tornado warning. Let's see, a brand new tornado warning that has been issued for Jackson County. That's going to run until 9 o'clock. So let me zoom this out. If you're just now joining us, we have a brand new tornado warning that is in effect for Jackson County. Let's go down to Jackson County. There's that brand new tornado warning. Let's zoom in on the box here. So it looks like the main city here is going to be Stevenson, but I can take the zoom box off. There we go. Nope, still there. So I want to take that off so I can move this. Okay, so brand new tornado warning in effect for Jackson County, just Jackson County, going to run until 9 o'clock. If you're in Stevenson, you need to be getting into your tornado safe place. If you're in Fabius, you need to be getting into your tornado safe place. My apologies if I'm saying that wrong. If you're in Bolivar, you probably need to be getting into your tornado safe place. I want to look at our velocity image. I want to find our area of rotation. Looks like we're going to be watching an area here, probably just to the south of Stevenson. Looks like we've got a nice area of increased shear here just to the south of Stevenson. Again, shear is a fantastic tool. It shows us a change in wind speed and wind direction with height. So that's something we're obviously going to continue to monitor over the next several minutes. I'm using a different computer. I kind of want to see if there is any sort of tornado signature with this. No, I'm fine. So I kind of want to go over here. I don't see anything sticking out as far as a tornado debris signature is concerned. So certainly some good news there. But we are talking about a lot of wind shear here. Again, wind shear is a change in wind speed and wind direction with height. It looks like this area of interest might be just to the south of Stevenson. But if you are in Stevenson, you really need to be in your tornado safe place. If you're in Fabius, you really need to be getting into your tornado safe place like right now. Now, Shiloh is just out of the tornado warning, but you probably need to be thinking about getting into your tornado safe place. We are talking about a fair amount of wind shear, and I kind of want to see if the wind shear is going to match up with our velocity image. My apologies, I don't claim to be a good artist. So my apologies if my circles are not the best. But I want to flip over to our velocity image. I kind of want to go down here and maybe pick, so here. Kind of within the circle, which is, it's kind of a good thing that these things tend to line up. Kind of a good thing. You can see an area of some tighter rotation here. When you're watching the greens and we're watching the reds, those are winds moving in different directions. But in this case, the winds are moving in different directions but coming at each other. So the winds are basically colliding. And so we're going to watch this area within the circle here. So again, here's Stevenson, and then we get to Highway 72. Highway 72 is going to run right through this circle. This is Highway 72 over in northeast Alabama. We got a tornado warning in effect for Jackson County. That tornado warning looks like it is going to run until 9 o'clock. This is radar indicated. We do not have any confirmed reports of a tornado on the ground, but if you're in Stevenson, if you're in Fabius, you really need to be in your tornado safe place. If you're in Shiloh, you really need to think about getting into your tornado safe place. It looks like the radar might have updated a scan while I was over there looking at my computer, but I still notice some fairly decent rotation. So if you know anybody driving along Highway 72, this would be right around Stevenson. You really need to give them a call. They really need to be in their tornado safe place. Hollywood and Scottsboro are both outside of this tornado warning. But if you know anybody in Stevenson, if you know anybody that is potentially driving along 72 over in northeast Alabama, you need to give them a call. You need to tell them that they need to find a place to pull off. Excuse me. Because we are talking about a tornado warning. I want to take off my circle. So we're watching this area here within the polygon, the red polygon. Again, if you are in Stevenson, you need to be in your tornado safe place. Boulevard, again, my apologies if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. If you're in Boulevard, if you're in Bridgeport, you are probably fine. It looks like our area of interest is going to be well to the south of these two locations, Bridgeport and Boulevard. But if you're in Stevenson, if you're in Fabius, you really need to be in your tornado safe place. If you're in Shiloh, you're just barely out of the tornado warning, but you need to consider getting into your tornado safe place because if this storm holds together, it would move through your area somewhat soon. I want to go ahead and try and put a track on this. It says it was moving to the east at about 45 miles per hour. So we're going to pick this area here, kind of zoom it out, and I want to put a track on this for you guys. Not a lot of locations listed here. Shiloh, by the time we get to 850, Trenton, now we're getting into Georgia at this point. That says 957. I believe that would be because it switches to Eastern time when we get to Georgia, and then Morganville also in Georgia at 10:02. But bear in mind, Trenton and Morganville, those would be in the Eastern time zone, so that's why it's showing such a large gap between the 850 and the 957, because we're going to go from Central time to Eastern time. So really, Shiloh is in the path of this tornado warned storm, be there by about 850. So you still have a little bit of time to get into your tornado safe place, but you probably need to think about getting there as soon as you can. I want to look at our velocity image. I want to see what we're talking about as far as rotation is concerned. And actually, it kind of looks like our rotation has broadened up quite a bit. Still a little bit of shear showing up here, a little bit of wind shear showing up, and even a little bit of wind shear outside of this tornado warning down towards Hollywood, but that is outside of our tornado warning. So we have our tornado warning here for Jackson County. That tornado warning is going to run until 9 o'clock. So just under a half hour left on that tornado warning. So that's something we're going to continue to follow, this tornado warning. Some areas of increased wind shear, but again, we also have some areas of increased wind shear down outside of this tornado warning. But wind shear is a change in wind speed and a change in wind direction.
This current tornado warning. So it does look like that area of shear that you see right along 72, right towards the south of the current polygon, that looks like an area to watch as well. So I'm assuming that's probably what they're issuing the warning for.
Yeah, you're probably right. So we can go down here. Again, here's 72 and here's Hollywood. Now, what Emily was telling y'all is that the National Weather Service is going to issue another tornado warning. It'll also be for Jackson County. But they're going to issue it just south of our current tornado warning, and I bet they're going to watch this area here, right around Hollywood, where we've got some increased wind shear. As far as the rotation is concerned, I see a little bit of broad rotation associated with this. It doesn't look terribly impressive, but I do see a little bit of increased rotation. Now, what I don't see, and I'm looking at this kind of off to the side, I don't see any sort of tornado debris signature. So that's definitely some good news, but that's not to say that that won't change. So if you're just joining us, we currently have, that's not what I wanted to do. If you're just joining us, we currently have a tornado warning that is in effect for Jackson County here in the red box. It does include Stevenson and Fabius, but at the same time, we've also got another tornado warning that is about to be issued.
It just was issued, so this is going to be Jackson and DeKalb until 9:15.
Okay, so Emily just told us about that. We're going to wait until we can get the polygon to pop up. But a new tornado warning for Jackson and DeKalb County, that is going to run until 9:15. And again, I bet that that is going to be for this area down near Hollywood. I also have another picture to show y'all. We're not going to show that right now, but we're going to keep that picture handy, and when the time allows, I want to show you guys another picture that we got from a viewer of some storm damage. I'm not going to show you that right now, but I am going to show it to you in a little bit when we're done talking about this threat for the tornado warnings. So, like Emily mentioned, brand new tornado warning just to the south of our original tornado warning. Brand new tornado warning now for Jackson and DeKalb County. Tornado warning is going to run until 9:15. I've attempted to put the box there. It just shows Jackson County because that's the county I clicked into. So brand new tornado warning for Jackson County and a tornado warning. See if I can get DeKalb County maybe to show up there. There's DeKalb County. Brand new tornado warning for Jackson and DeKalb County. That is going to run until 9:15. So our area of interest is going to be right here, right just to the east of Hollywood. Pay attention to this area of increased wind shear. And again, y'all know, if you've watched my coverage before, that I really love wind shear because wind shear shows us a change in wind speed and wind direction with height. And when you get that solid change in wind speed and wind direction with height, that's a really good indicator that we're probably talking about some serious rotation. So we're going to be talking about this area just to the east of Hollywood at this point. Here's 72. 72 is really in both of these tornado warnings. Now this is 72 over in northeast Alabama. It looks like our area of concern is going to be just to the east of 72. So definitely not covering that major road, but it is included in the tornado warning. I've circled our area of interest, and I want to switch over to our velocity image. So here's the little bit of, if I could offer you maybe any sort of good news. It looks like that the rotation is somewhat broad, but at the same time, the rotation is definitely there. So the rotation is something we're going to continue to watch over the next several minutes. Again, this is associated with a brand new tornado warning, in effect for Jackson and DeKalb counties until 9:15. So it's really important to be able to distinguish the fact that we are talking about two different tornado warnings for Jackson County, and then we are talking about just the one tornado warning for DeKalb County. So I can go up here. I'll get rid of my circle. So we've got the first tornado warning here. That is for just Jackson County. That's going to run until 8:45, I believe, or 9 o'clock. We've got the first tornado warning. I want to check and see if we're talking about any real rotation associated with that. And honestly, I don't really see a lot of rotation. I want to go up, and there is a little bit of wind shear associated with that. But at the same time, we have our second tornado warning. So two different tornado warnings for Jackson County, and they both expire at different times. The first one, I believe, expires in just a couple of minutes. Let me go in, and actually I can click on that maybe. Maybe I can click on it. The first tornado warning expires in just a couple of minutes. Tornado warning for Jackson County, that expires at 9 o'clock, but at the same time, we have another tornado warning for Jackson County that expires at 9:15. This tornado warning that expires at 9:15 in Jackson County also expires at 9:15 in DeKalb County. So what I've noticed over the last couple of radar scans as I've been talking to you guys is that it does look like maybe the wind shear has slackened up just a little bit. Still some decently impressive shear here as indicated by some of the brighter greens. You still notice the speck of red there. That would be a really good indicator that we are talking about a slight increase in the amount of wind shear. So we're going to continue to watch this for the next couple of minutes. Let's switch it over to our velocity image. Now, I do see some rotation here, but it does kind of look like the rotation is somewhat broad and is on the east side of 72 there. So I want to try and put a track, at least on this area. Let me figure out how fast it's moving. This storm is really moving. It's moving quite quickly at 50 miles per hour. So let me try, and I'm going to pick this spot here, move to the east at 50. There we go. Close. I got it close. So Flat Rock by 8:55, Eider by 8:57, Shiloh by 9:03. And then again, we talked about this just a minute ago. It says Trenton, but Trenton is over in Georgia. Georgia is in the Eastern time zone. That's why it says it would get to Trenton over in Georgia at 10:10. But if you're in Flat Rock, if you're in Eider, if you're in Shiloh, you really need to be getting into your tornado safe place. You've really only got 10 or so minutes. Again, Flat Rock by 8:55, Eider by 8:57, and then getting into Shiloh by 9:03. That, of course, pending this activity holds itself together. So this is something we're going to continue to watch for the next several minutes. We've still got a little while on these tornado warnings, so I want to stick with you and continue to talk about these tornado warnings that we have over in Northeast Alabama. We've got a couple of different tornado warnings. If you are just joining us this evening, we have one tornado warning that is in effect for Jackson County. That tornado warning does not expire until 9 o'clock. That is just Jackson County. At the same time, we have another tornado warning for Jackson County, but also DeKalb County. That tornado warning does not expire until 9:15. So two different tornado warnings, both across Northeast Alabama, both Jackson and DeKalb County. Jackson County has two. One expires at 9. The other expires at 9:15. And then while all of that's going on, we've also got the severe thunderstorm warning. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect for the next several minutes. And then associated with all of this, we have other areas of shower and thunderstorm activity. I kind of want to zoom back in. I want to check on these tornado warnings. I want to see what we've got going on. So I want to zoom in. Let's take that off. Let's go this way. So here's Stevenson, here's Fabius, and then we get down into Hollywood. And then you've got 72 there also included within the tornado warnings. I want to check our wind shear, and it does look like the wind shear has backed off quite a bit. So that is definitely some good news, but we are still talking about some areas of increased wind shear. Looks like that would be just to the south of Fabius. Looks like a brand new severe thunderstorm warning has also been issued, but at that point, that severe thunderstorm warning is going to be over in Georgia. So a couple of different severe thunderstorm warnings for Jackson and DeKalb County, and then a severe thunderstorm warning has already been issued over in northwest Georgia. Now, obviously, that is going to be out of the FOX54 viewing area. So we're going to continue to watch this area here, just to the south of Fabius. And I want to go ahead and draw for you. I want to draw a circle. And then I want to check our velocity image to see what we've got. There we go. I don't notice, got to take the pencil off. I don't notice a lot of very strong rotation there within these storms. What I do notice is some areas of increased wind shear, but I don't notice a whole lot of very broad or a very tight rotation. So that is definitely some good news there, but we still have both tornado warnings in effect. One tornado warning for Jackson County runs until 9 o'clock, and then we have the other tornado warning for both Jackson and DeKalb County. That is going to run until 9:15. Either in the path, you are directly in the polygon, you probably need to be getting to your tornado safe place. Now, if you're in Henniger, you're not in the tornado warning. If you're in Mentone, not in the tornado warning, you're in the severe thunderstorm warning. Do you need to be in your tornado safe place? No, not at this second. I don't think you need to be in your tornado safe place because you are outside of these tornado warnings. So you are going to have to deal with some rain. You're going to have to deal with some noise. But if you're in Henniger, if you're in Mentone, I would anticipate that you are probably going to be fine to stay where you're at. I don't think you need to be getting into your tornado safe place. So back just to the west a little bit outside of our tornado warnings, we're also watching other lines of showers and thunderstorms. I want to switch it over to our Columbus radar. I want to show you guys that at this point we are now talking about another round of very heavy rain back across northwest Alabama, Lauderdale, Colbert, down into Franklin County. We're also probably talking about a little bit of thunder. It doesn't really look like we're talking about a lot of lightning, but nonetheless, we are talking about some very heavy rain back across northwest Alabama. And it looks like that rain is going to continue to slide to the east. Now, it is worth a mention that folks in Lauderdale and Colbert counties are currently sitting under a flash flood warning. So I don't believe that flash flood warning expires until we get to about 10:15. So if you're in Lauderdale or Colbert County, be very mindful of the fact that flash flooding is certainly going to be possible. Over the last 6 or 7 hours, some folks in far northwest Alabama have seen anywhere between 2 and 2.5 inches of rain. And then we are talking about some pockets of very heavy rain back down into Decatur. We're talking about some heavy rain back across Grant. We're also talking about maybe a little bit of noise and some gusty winds. At the same time, we also have our 2 tornado warnings that I want to zoom back in on. Let's go back to our 2 tornado warnings here over in northwest Alabama. Kind of draw my circle. Take this off and go this way. So here's what we're talking about. We're talking about this line here. At this point, this line continues to move to the east. Again, if you're in Shiloh, you really need to be getting into your tornado safe place. This impressive line is going to be knocking on your door rather quickly here. Now, I don't see a lot of very tight or very intense rotation, and as a matter of fact, it does look like our wind shear has also backed off quite a bit. So we do have some reports out of Hollywood that maybe we are talking about a little bit of storm damage. So bear that in mind back towards Hollywood. Talking about a little bit of storm damage per, I believe, per the sheriff over there. The Hollywood fire chief, excuse me. So per the Hollywood fire chief, we are talking about the potential of a little bit of damage back across Hollywood. Now, I was told, I want to take a break from both of these tornado warnings for just a second. I was told that we have another picture to show you guys, and
We got photos of the we got new photos of the Hibbett Sports that I was talking about earlier in Hazel Green, and then we've got photos of the Verizon building that I was talking about in Hazel Green as well.
so are those photos that production is ready to show? Miss Tia, you can literally just tell me in my ear if y'all have those photos ready to show.
I know we've got the ones that were on.
Okay, so we don't have the Hibbett Sports and Verizon just yet. We're going to work on getting that for y'all as soon as we can. And before we go to that picture, Tia, I want to provide everybody with another update. We are going to cancel the tornado watch for Franklin County and Lincoln County and Moore County up in southern Middle Tennessee, but we are going to continue the tornado watch for everybody else until 2 o'clock. Now, I believe I know what photo you're about to show, so let's show that photo, and then I can talk about it. So I wanted to show you all this photo. I got this photo from Brett. Brett sent me this photo. He texted me this photo and said a tree fell on a house in Trinity from strong winds earlier this afternoon. So I wanted to show y'all this photo. I thought this was a really powerful photo of what looks like a rather sizable tree there that fell on the roof of a house. So thank you so much to Brett for sending me that photo. I really appreciate it. And again, if y'all have any photos that you would like to send or any sort of damage reports, please send me those via text message. It's really quite easy. 256-382-2692. Okay, we can go back to our radar now. And the second we get those photos of the Hibbett Sports and the Verizon building up in Hazel Green, I will make sure that we get those to y'all. But if we could go back to myself and the radar at the key wall. Thank you so much. So we still have our 2 tornado warnings in effect. Tornado warning number 1 for Jackson County. It expires here in about 5 minutes. And then we have tornado warning number 2 for both Jackson and DeKalb County. It expires in about 25 minutes. I believe it expires at 9:15, so maybe a little less than 25 minutes. Really does not look all that impressive when looking at our wind shear at this point. Looks like our wind shear is not all that impressive at this point. I notice a little bit of increased wind shear here right around Shiloh. If you're in Shiloh, you still really need to be in your tornado safe place. At the same time, if you're in Elisa, you probably need to be in your tornado safe place. And as a matter of fact, the National Weather Service is going to go ahead and expire tornado warning number 1 for Jackson County. Now, Jackson County is still sitting under tornado warning number 2. Jackson and DeKalb County, as a matter of fact. But I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they go ahead and drop Jackson County from both of these. If not, drop the second one as well. I don't notice really a whole lot of rotation at this point. back across northeast Alabama. I do notice the tornado warning has been continued into northwest Georgia. Certainly some bad news there. But Jackson County has at least been allowed to be dropped from tornado warning number 1. No word yet on what we're going to do with tornado warning number 2. But what I don't see is I don't see a lot of very serious rotation. Now I want to throw on our shear swath, and this would kind of tell me the history. So back a while, it had a good history of producing quite a bit of wind shear. But it does look like it kind of has fallen apart over the last several scans. Another little bit of news that I want to share with you guys, it does look like the National Weather Service has expired the wind advisory. Now, the wind advisory was supposed to expire at 9 o'clock this evening. So basically, the wind advisory was kind of allowed to expire on time. So here's what we're talking about. Here's our area of interest right here, just beginning to move into Shiloh. Folks in Shiloh remain under the tornado warning for the next couple of minutes. I believe the tornado warning for Shiloh will not expire until 9:15. So that's where we sit there. That's where we sit with that tornado warning. A lot of very heavy rain, probably some gusty winds. The one thing we don't see, and this is kind of a sign of maybe we're talking about a slightly weaker tornado at this point, or a weakened storm at this point, I don't see a whole lot of lightning. Really, we've only seen a lot of lightning this evening with storms that have done a really good job at going under some sort of intensification. So I want to zoom things out, look at the Tennessee Valley as a whole real quick. I kind of want to step away from those tornado warnings because as of right now, I don't see anything overly concerning with the tornado warnings that we do have for Jackson and DeKalb County. Now, we do still have that tornado warning until 9:15, so we are going to continue to watch that. But at the same time, I also want to mention that we do have a lot of other areas of shower and thunderstorm activity back across northwest Alabama where they continue to get quite a bit of rain. And then we're also talking about a lot of rain back across Madison County and then down into Morgan County. And then we are also talking about quite a bit of rain back across northeast Alabama. So I want to zoom back in on our tornado warning here. I haven't seen any recent updates from the National Weather Service. That's something I'm obviously going to continue to watch. But I have not seen any recent updates. I want to push that way. We're watching this area here. Back across Hollywood, back into 72. I don't see much of a threat there anymore. So if you're in Hollywood, I would fare to say that you are in the all clear, at least from this tornado warning. You do still have the severe thunderstorm warning. So bear that in mind that you have the severe thunderstorm warning. I can try severe thunderstorm warning. There, that is severe thunderstorm warning expected to expire at 9:15 over in Jackson County. So important information there. Let me try and, I want to try and get that off. Let me go this way. There we go. So severe thunderstorm warning. So we do have some brand new pictures for you. Let me try and get that off of there. Okay, that's not going to do what I want. There we go. Okay, so I want to show you guys a couple of other pictures. These are pictures out of Hazel Green. We have pictures of the Hibbett Sports and then the Verizon. It does look like, kind of looks like a roof might have fallen in there inside the Hibbett Sports. Kind of looks like they're missing part of their awning. JJ is our digital person. JJ, I assume you can hear me. If you wouldn't mind posting those to my social media, I would greatly appreciate it. But this is some of the confirmation out of Hazel Green. Just a couple of other pictures. I'm assuming this one is also out of Hazel Green. If somebody could confirm that for me, I would really appreciate that. Looks like we've got a little bit of damage hanging out there in the roadway. Not entirely sure what that is. It kind of looks like it could be part of a roof, but I'm going to go ahead and assume it looks like these photos are coming out of Hazel Green. And again, I'm going to ask whoever is available digitally. I believe we have a couple of digital folks on staff. If you could post these photos of the Hibbett Sports and the Verizon and the other photo we were showing.
JJ is the one who actually went to the Verizon and the Hibbets.
Oh, well, that's great to know. Thank you so much, JJ. But if we could post these photos to my social media, I would really appreciate that. Thank you all so much. So this is a picture from the Verizon store and the Hibbett Sports store up in Hazel Green. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with Hazel Green, these are just literally across a simple 2-lane road from the Walmart. So you've got the Verizon store, you've got the Hibbett Sports, you've got the Walmart, and then there's also a Mexican restaurant kind of up there in the same lot. And then there's the Walmart gas station. It's also got the Zaxby's and other such places. So there's the Hibbett Sports, there's the Verizon. Kind of looks like, I can't really tell, but it kind of looks like maybe a roof caved in. It kind of looks like that's what I'm looking at there through the windows. I'm kind of looking at these for the first time with y'all. And then it looks like there's kind of a chunk of the roof hanging off of the Verizon store, and then it also looks like the awning on the Hibbett Sports did not fare too well. So definitely some impressive damage from the Hazel Green community this evening. So thank you so much to our digital guy, JJ, for taking those photos for me. I really appreciate it. We can go back to the radar, if you don't mind. Thank you so much. Still have the tornado warning in effect for Jackson and DeKalb County. Tornado warning is going to run until 9:15. I was just reading a text from one of our digital folks. Tornado warning still runs until 9:15 for Jackson and DeKalb County. Would not be the least bit surprised if the National Weather Service ends up letting this expire. I haven't seen any updates just yet, but I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if, as a matter of fact, new flash flood warning. So we have a new flash flood warning in effect for Madison County. That flash flood warning is going to run until 12 midnight. A new event, a flash flood warning, that is going to run until 12 midnight for Madison County. In the meantime, we do still have our tornado warning, but I'm kind of beginning to get the vibe, based on what I've seen on radar, that we're probably not. One of my neighbors just texted me and it made me smile. We're probably not talking about much of a tornado threat at this point back across northeast Alabama. Our wind shear has really backed off quite significantly. I'm really not noticing a whole lot of wind shear at this point. So that's certainly some good news there. I really don't notice much in the way of any rotation within this tornado warning. Now the tornado warning still runs until 9:15. There's the tornado warning there for Jackson and DeKalb County. Tornado warning not going to expire until 9:15. Wouldn't be the least bit surprised, though, if the National Weather Service ends up allowing that tornado warning to expire just a little bit early. Let's go back to our radar. At this point, this kind of really looks like a jumbled up mess. It really kind of looks like it's fallen apart here recently, but we're going to continue to monitor this over the next few minutes. I also want to go back and show you guys. This is our radar as a whole.
They just canceled tornado warning.
There we go. So they've gone ahead and canceled the tornado warning for Jackson and DeKalb County. So they let that expire about 15 minutes early. So we're going to continue to monitor things for the next several minutes. Eventually, I'm going to let Emily take over because obviously it is time for FOX54 News at 9. So I'll let Emily take over and have a little bit of fun. We are still talking about a lot of very heavy rain back across northwest Alabama. I want to switch things over to our Columbus radar. Look, a lot of this rain, some really intense bands of rain, some very, very heavy rain back across Lauderdale, Colbert, and then down into Franklin County. The National Weather Service has also expired the severe thunderstorm warning that was in effect for DeKalb County. So certainly some good news there. So we're still talking about a lot of rain though, and we're going to continue to watch this activity, the chance to see some further development over the next couple of hours. But at the same time, I also want to hit on the fact, and I just mentioned the flash flood warning that was in effect, or that is currently in effect for Madison County. So actually at this point, we've got a couple of different flash flood warnings in effect. We're going to talk about the flash flood warning that is in effect for Lauderdale and Colbert County, where they have seen a significant amount of rain. This is over the last 12 hours, but remember, it really hasn't been raining for 12 straight hours, but I needed something in between the 6 and the 12, but I don't have something there. Okay. So I want to show you guys some rainfall totals over the last little while. Look at that, 2 inches over the last 12 hours across northern Lauderdale County. That would just begin to push us into Limestone County. Over 2 inches just to the north of Huntsville. Long strip here of rain where we've probably seen 1.5 or even 2 inches of rain. So that's definitely something that's kind of impressive and definitely warrants the flash flood warnings. So back to our radar. Actually, I'm going to end up picking this radar. Still a lot of rain hanging out across northwest Alabama, Lauderdale, Colbert, down into Franklin County. Probably talking about a few thunderstorms back across Lauderdale, Colbert, and Franklin County. A little bit of noise, maybe even some gusty winds. So that's something we're going to continue to watch. And at the same time, we're also going to continue to watch the activity that continues to hang out back across the Huntsville metro area, down into Decatur, maybe beginning to see a little bit of rain move down into Hartselle. Here's Huntsville. And then the I-65 corridor back across 565, also talking about a fair amount of rain. I believe the severe thunderstorm warning here that is highlighted, I believe that is the severe thunderstorm warning that the National Weather Service has allowed to expire, which is certainly some good news there, because that would lead us to the fact that we are currently not sitting under any sort of severe thunderstorm warning across all of North Alabama or southern Middle Tennessee. So we can zoom things out, look at the Tennessee Valley as a whole. Doesn't look like we're talking about any severe thunderstorm warnings. We do have the one severe thunderstorm warning that I believe has been allowed to expire. So definitely some good news there. So we're going to continue to watch this for the time being. At the same time, I'm also going to let Emily kind of hang out with y'all for a little while, since it is obviously time for Fox 54 News at 9, but we are by no means going to leave you. We're going to continue to monitor things through the duration of the evening, but for the time being, I think I'm going to send you guys to a quick break.
All right, so
you can do whatever you want.
News off the top. I'm out of A block since all this has been going on. And then, what do we have in the B block? I need to get, hey, Tia, can you hear me? Can you come fix my camera shot? So, I wanted to kill all of first weather. Is there any way you started out?
IFB 123, can you hear me?
I think we should probably keep first weather in.
You want to keep it?
Yeah, go ahead and keep first weather in.